Good day and welcome to another episode on LVM Studios, Its Own. My name is Jamal Lewis and I'll be guiding you through today's programs. And this program is designed at reaching the millennial, reaching the younger demographic. So when you're thinking about millennials, there's only one person who immediately comes to mind, the author of The Millennial Mind, Mr. Daniel Francis. Welcome, Daniel.
Nice to be here, man.
Yes. A little bit about Daniel. Daniel is an author and an entrepreneur. For the past 3 years, he has been serving as a personal development coach who targets millennials and help them tap into their full potential. Under Daniel's stewardship, millennials learn practical skills like time management, goal setting, and staying consistent. Now, that is what is on paper. But Daniel, tell us, who is Daniel Francis?
That's a very open-ended question, by the way. How does someone answer a question?
Who is Daniel Francis?
I could start at any point in time.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the womb and it was growing after the okay.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm an entrepreneur. Under that umbrella, there's personal development coach, there's event planner. I even dabble as a host on an online network.
Yeah, so we can switch seats a little later in the program. Yeah.
Share some moves here.
Yes. Yeah.
But for me, the main thing being the personal development coaching, and it's from that end that most of the experience and the content came from that helped me to create the book, The Millennial Mind. I feel like when it comes to the work that I do, I really just try to focus on being where millennials are, right? I'm doing the coaching, millennials. I'm doing the events, millennials. I'm doing the show, interviewing young entrepreneurs, right?
So that's like your niche right there.
Yeah.
Millennials, yeah.
And I think for me, it's important to stay within that confine. Of course, I can help higher and lower, but this being my main focus because I'm a millennial. Not only that, I have gone through periods of just being completely lost, wasting a lot of time, squandering potential, and it's really me having to go through those experiences that showed me that okay, there's so much more that I could be doing with life.
Yes.
You can have all the potential, you can be the most valuable player on the team, whatever the team of life is talking about there. But if you don't have those simple foundational traits of personal development, time management, having a vision, understanding your goals, being a team player, emotional intelligence, you just
existing.
Yeah, literally staying spinning top in the mud, you're going real fast.
I got a lot of information there, so I'm going to try and see how best we could bisect it. There's a word that keeps coming up: millennial. What really is a millennial? Who is a millennial? Am I a millennial?
Well, I don't know Jamal's age, so I'm not
Yes.
trying to guess, but he looks like at least 25.
Yes.
So we'll stick with that number.
I am sticking with that. So, who is a millennial, or how is a millennial described or explained?
So millennial right now in 2020, if you're viewing this, is anyone between the ages of 23 to 39, if you're being really specific.
Okay.
I like to give it a plus or minus 3-4 years, just because.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for that. and it also can be seen as a mindset. It's more that transition from young adult into adulthood, right? And even within the book, I have to distinguish there's early millennial, middle millennial, late millennial, and there's like a 5-6 year gap between all of them because not everyone is in the same stage of life. If you are, let's say, between the ages of 23 to about 28, you are working probably your first, second, third job.
Yep.
You're figuring it out. You're trying to understand all the things that you don't know, but people keep saying that there are things that you should know, right? You're trying to save money. You're trying to build your goals. You're trying to build yourself into being a person that could actually, have a future, not only with yourself, but somebody else.
Yes.
Right? And it's a lot of gray area. It's a lot of wandering in the darkness. And a problem that an early millennial will have compared to a late millennial, somebody who's, let's say, closer to 39, 38, 37, be different, someone of that age.
Yeah, at those points in times, there's different goals, different things that you want to achieve.
You might be more settled as well, so.
Yeah, but does it really have to be, let's say, 23 to 25 that I'm in the early stage? Or could I be closer to 39 and still experiencing the things from that is normally experienced at the early millennial stage?
I mean, in the book, and I say it multiple times, just to be clear, because I get people calling me with angry calls and saying, "Why you say this? This is not me." I'm not trying to paint a broad brush. I'm just giving a template. Of course, you could be in your late 30s and feeling like a middle millennial. Of course, you could be an early millennial and feeling like a late millennial. Nobody is the same. Everybody is different. They all go through different experiences. I'm just writing a book to help persons to use what I create to kind of make it practical to you.
Yes.
Because I can never write a perfect book to perfectly describe you and everybody else. It's just impossible.
It's just, so it's more like your interpretation.
Yeah.
And with your interpretation, but an overview.
Exactly. So when you see it, you'll say, okay, you pick and choose what works for you.
Yeah, so you get the holistic picture, and this part is where he's really speaking to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that. I like how you're approaching the book. But why a book? What was the inspiration for you to say, all right, yeah, you see me, I go and write a book about millennials. What gave you that drive?
Well, the book was never in my goals. It was never something I never sat down and said, yeah, I'm about to author books and all these things.
Right.
I just got to a point where I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about, I do one-on-ones, I do group sessions, I do workshops, all these different things that help people. And people tell me, you've helped me so much, XYZ, etc., etc. And I was sitting down one day and I just thought to myself, well, what is the best way that I can reach more people? Because I'm helping people, I can see the change I'm creating in their lives. I'm also starting to see a trend that people come to me with the same thing. Right. And when I say people, specifically the younger persons, because the majority of the clients that I was seeing back then would have been persons around my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger.
Right.
And it just came to me like a meteor striking the earth. It's like, write a book.
Write a book.
And
how does one even begin to write a book? Guide us a little bit through that process. Is that you just jot down your thoughts and then you start to build around it? What is Daniel Francis's process of writing a book, especially when you're diving deep down into the millennial mind?
Yeah, that's not a trademark, Daniel Francis formula. I don't tell her anything about it, but I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I had very little confidence in myself at the beginning because it was not like I was any creative writing whiz. That was one of my worst subjects in school. Yeah, I
so that sense of insecurity is really like in the early millennial stage.
Listen, I feel like you trying to start with it.
No. I'm trying to put it
because
in context.
So you're doing something you've never done before.
Right.
So the idea itself was terrifying to me because I don't know anything about this.
Correct.
Right? I had no knowledge. I had no point of reference. So the first thing I did, is I sat down and I made a plan. And when I look at this plan, the plan had too many holes because I didn't know too many things. So the first step was to message, to reach out to DM on Instagram, send email to as many local, international authors as possible to get just feedback. I remember the email was real simple. I said, hey, I know you don't know me, name is Daniel Francis. I have an interesting idea for a book, but I've never written a book.
Right.
I have these questions, if you wouldn't mind taking a couple of minutes to answer it. So I asked questions about how to write, how often to write a day, what ideas would work best, what do you think made your book sell really well? Just general questions. And it was really shocking to me how many actually replied. What was also very interesting was majority of them were not local people. Like I felt like local authors, it wasn't really hey, welcome to the community. It was more might be competition kind of thing.
Got you.
So that was very shocking to me. And honestly, the best advice I got was actually from my sister. She had written a fiction book a couple months before. Just
Okay.
she loves to read, so
Okay.
she was just writing, and she just put out the book, and she told me write every single day. That was the best advice I got, because once I got the idea, I got the name, the chapters. Typical millennial, I went straight to social media. Say, hey guys, look at this. You all like this?
Yes.
And
yes.
the response was overwhelming. They're like, yeah, you have to write this.
Okay.
And the model I used was, okay, every morning for an hour to 2 hours, I'm writing.
Right.
And when I'm writing, I'm not even thinking about anything else. I'm just focusing on what that chapter is. So I would have written down all the chapters, and I would have written little bullets under each chapter, so I kind of have a guide and a flow.
To kind of stay on track.
Yeah. And then on top of that, particular year, I had a big goal of trying to read a book a week. I didn't really go that well, but by the time I got to the book, I was about 25, 28 books in, and the majority of the books I read that year was self-help books. Okay. So I had actually inadvertently done a lot of the research and work towards my book, because I found that I was equipped with a lot of information that I could use in the book. Not only that, but I was equipped with experience of when I read books, I know the things I don't like to see in books. I know the things I like to see in books. And I use those template blanket ideas in writing my book. So you'll find that.
So you see, we got the little formula there.
That's not a formula.
We got that there from Mr. Francis. Now, just train a little bit. There are many categories that you're hearing thrown around. There's Millennial, Gen Y, Gen Z, Baby Boomer. Where we at now in the alphabet? Where we at?
Gen X, Y, Z, T.
There's so many, but what is fundamentally different? Because not only the age bracket, but what is the difference between a Baby Boomer and a Millennial kind of thing?
I would say culture. Definitely culture. I think that what was believed as true and worked, let's say, for example, with a Boomer generation, it's completely different to ours. Where you have one generation who believes that you work hard, you stay consistent, for instance, stay in one job, you'll do well, right?
And just work your way up the ranks.
Work your way up and you're fine, right? Then you have us, who were raised by boomers, raised by the generation above boomers, and we're told, work hard, stick to the job, you'll be fine. But it doesn't really work for us. Right? Because of how we were raised, we are raised more on I want to say like idealistic or more vision bound, whereby we want to work for a company that we see it aligns with our vision.
Yes.
We want to feel like the work we're doing, even if it has
some sort
of deeper meaning and changing something.
That you are actually enacting some sort of change. Like you're just not sitting down at your desk or whatever it is during the day and nothing is happening. You want to see, well, okay, hey, this proposal that I put forward, they're actually following through with it. So that is almost like a double-edged sword. I don't know what's your take on it. Because if you're not seeing that happen, then we tend to look for another job.
Well, yeah, that's why millennials change jobs. It's like 6-7 times in their life, which is, I think, triple or double.
But is that really a good thing, or is it a bad thing? I mean, your resume is going to look pretty. It's going to look pretty impressive, but it can also be seen as you're not stable. Again, that might be the vision of the older generation, if I'm allowed to say that, the baby boomers or whatever. This person isn't stable, or it must be something wrong with him. He always moving from job to job. So what is your take on that, bro?
Now, I can't speak for these specific organizations, how they view that, but then if it's such a norm between millennials, do we even see it as something that's so different, right? But it's a very, very funny topic, because you have to look at why they left. It can't just be you leave and what was the reasoning behind it, right? And it's also speaking to the fact that there's almost like a generational integration that's happening. Because again, the boomers, generation above the boomers, they have the power right now.
Yes.
To kind of create, to change, to destroy, right? We are coming into that power as we get older and start to take on those responsibilities.
Yes. Yeah.
So our norms will start to overlap their norms. And you'll find that that's happening now. So for us, a norm is, we look, we find an organization that fits us.
Yes.
For them, they're like, this person is jumping on this. I don't know if I can work with this person. But there's going to come a point where there needs to be a transfer power, there needs to be a bridging of the gap.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that we are seeing that are normal to us will just become a norm. Whether that transfer happens naturally
if it's not natural progression.
I don't think so, because there will always be turbulence when there's
correct.
a power shift.
Correct.
But it inevitably will have to happen, because as people get older and they retire and new people come in, we come in with our new ideas, we come in with our innovation, we come in with our experience. It will be different. It will be different.
Should business owners or those in senior management, should they be worried or concerned or fearful of hiring a millennial? Because the thinking may be that, hey, I'm not going to invest in Daniel, and Daniel is going to leave here in a year and a half. I see the potential in Daniel. I think he will be a great asset for this company going forward. But I don't want to set him on a training course, and after that, he gone because he gets something better, or this company is not moving fast enough for him. So as a business owner, should they really be fearful of this?
The thing is, it's not. I don't see it as being fearful. I think it's being understanding. You're understanding to the fact that you're dealing with a different type of people.
Right.
So if you're dealing with a different type of people, you need to have different type of training. You have to have different ways you communicate with them. You have to have different types of culture, because you can't expect that what you did for the older heads will work for them. Right? You're afraid to train them because they'll take the information and leave. But you're not thinking about, okay, well, why would they want to leave? Right? Is it that what we're doing does not fit with them?
It doesn't appeal to them.
Or, and this is something that kind of is coming up with millennials, is that our lives outside of work affect our lives at work a lot more than other generations.
What are you saying that?
because we were born in technology, because we had this instant gratification, we kind of had this warped understanding of what the real world will be like.
Yes.
And it doesn't fit what we saw, right? We see a successful CEO, executive manager, supervisor, and we make the assumption of where we see that working. So they came in here 2 years, 3 years, they work consistently, they get their masters, they get in position. Right? We enter these organizations and we realize, oh wow, there's a whole line of succession here. There's a lot of qualifications that I might have to get to actually even be considered. There's some risk that I need to put out, some extra work that I need to put out, and we see that, I'm just like, this is not what I was told. This is not what I thought. And the illusion that you expected has been shattered, and all while this is happening, you're coming to work, you're doing your work, your managers having conversations with you, supervisors having conversations with you. You are mentally like zoning out because one, it's becoming just a job because you're not seeing the future for yourself. Two, you feel like you're being patronized when you speak to them about maybe ideas you have, or just opportunities that you see within the organization for yourself, or just for products or whatever it may be. But you feel like it's not being heard, you're not being appreciated, right? But again, the managers and supervisors are just doing what they usually would do. But it's a different people. So now when they leave, they say, wow, we waste money on training on them. We did this and for them, and they just took it for granted, not realizing that the models are changing. So the work hard model that they are using and how they train people because of that model doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. And I mean,